Here we are, day 5 on the build, and you've noticed we don't have tool belts on today, which is a little different.
1, 2.
We had to wait for some materials. We had like a half a day that we just had to kill, so we went to Eugene and we asked around and we figured out that there was this really cool mountain called Spencer's Butte. Leave it to two idiots to decide to go run 5 miles up a 2,000-foot mountain in the middle of the hardest job they've ever attempted in their life. It was a really fast climb. In other words, we were sucking wind within the first minute because the air is just so thin out there anyways.
So we just ran up the first part of the hill and we're tired. There's no air.
Yeah. We got to the very top and it was epic. Like just this panoramic view. It was super cool. 2,044 feet in elevation.
And then we ran it down. That was a lot faster going down.
Yeah.
My recommendation is always go downhill.
When you run, just always run downhill?
It's the preferred method. That's how I lived my childhood. I had to go to school downhill both ways.
Both ways? Barefoot,
yeah.
No less.
In like California weather, 70 degrees. It was a rough life.
That's horrifying, man. I feel for you.
Yeah.
Really do.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Derek. 10 years ago, I had an idea to build a pirate ship in the backyard of our Nashville home. With a little extra cash and a little leftover lumber, I went to work. And 2 months later, the first pirate Playship was born. And now after traveling to over 40 states and 4 different countries, I've handcrafted over 120 pirate ships. Now I'm looking to do something a little more exciting and to really push the limits. With all the different hats I wear, life sure stays interesting. And although I may not talk or act like one, I think at this point I've earned the title the Playship Pirate. So we built a pirate ship for this guy out in Eugene, Oregon a couple of years ago. And when we first went out there, he was like, guys, I want you to come back one day and maybe build a treehouse, a cabin, just something cool. This guy had acres and acres of land out in the Oregon wilderness, and it was just one of the coolest places, up on a mountain.
And you were thinking a little treehouse like this. You know.
Oh yeah, no, he said off in the distance, there's some trees there. And I'm thinking, I thought it would be a fun treehouse for the kids. Really, it was supposed to be a 2-story thing.
Yeah, I mean, there was a main
deck. It turned into a 3-story anyways. It grew crazy from that point. On the trip out, you got to play your Nintendo thing with that guy, remember, on the plane?
Well, I always have to get my nerd on. I mean, anywhere I go, I have to pacify me. It's like my binky, but for my hands.
You found a buddy on the plane that we sat next to was like all into it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We shared the binky.
Yeah. You guys were rocking
That's weird too.
Rocking the Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
We've known each other since we were...
Do we do a high five?
Since we were 10 or 11. He's a year older than me, so he always got to do everything before me.
We've been friends now 3 decades, so that's spanning a little bit of time.
That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry in advance. Or post. Whatever.
I'm sorry. You're apologizing for being my friend for 30 years?
No, just a terrible one.
So how about this view for this is the big killer, huh? I mean, yeah, this is the way to do it. When we arrived, we realized that we were going back in the woods like a couple miles. He had cut a path through the woods with the dozer, and it was just like epic. You just traveled for 3 or 4 minutes just to get to the spot.
Cleared out through the trees. There's like Spanish moss hanging.
Oh.
It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Welcome to the wilderness. This is where the magic happens this week.
Dude, those trees are sweet.
Yeah, aren't they?
Like that Spanish moss.
Yeah. This was some of the coolest scenery we've ever been around. It was like out of a Lord of the Rings movie or something.
It was quest-like.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, super cool. Dramatic stuff. So the first part of building this monstrosity in the Oregon woods was to set these poles. We had 30, 40-foot poles, like telephone poles, that were going to be basically the corners and the base of this thing. It took us probably 6 hours just to just to pull measurements and figure out where we want these posts to sit.
Yeah, let's get that.
Yeah, we want to come this way a few feet, Chris, I think. Yeah, we want to set those poles so that we can wrap around them.
Right. We had to get that right because everything sits on it.
Yeah. Well, we can get close. We can get the general. Then we can go from our one solid that we know, and then we can shoot, from there. If you had your tool belt on, you could use your hammer.
I'll just hold it here.
But I'll loan you one. Here. I can't get this guy to wear a belt.
I have before.
I don't think he brings me along for the expertise.
That looks questionable.
That's lame.
That's why we needed a shovel.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's mainly for my jovial nature and really high quality jokes.
Where does a fella get something like that?
I don't know. It's good. Look, it even has holes that I can just readily pull things out.
Oh yeah, so it's got pre-drilled holes in the bag. You can access to your tools. So they had to auger out the holes. Had to use the crane and the machines to be able to lift these things up and set them in.
I took it upon myself to learn how to drive the Bobcat. I think it had the forks on it. And I took it over there and I was like, I'm taking this pole with these forks and I'm moving over here, and I've never driven this thing in my life.
Yeah, dude.
And I think I did a pretty good job. I mean, it teetered, it tottered, it all but fell down.
Yeah. One thing with the poles is they had to be pulled down so they were seated in the ground.
Right.
But you can't see what's going on down there. You're like, okay, it's sinking, you think it's sunk up. But if you start building a structure on that, and then the weight of the structure pushes it down, then you have one side of your structure that's sunk and not a level floor, so.
All right, one pull. We're halfway there.
It's good, man.
Wait, my math is off.
A quarter of the way there. You didn't do good in school, did you? All right, it's day 2. We're up on the thing they call the snorkel. I like to call it the blue dinosaur, because it can literally reach anywhere and lift you about 120 feet up in the air. Pretty awesome. When we build things, we may not always follow the most recommended OSHA approved methods. There may be some times where I was tiptoeing 40 feet above the ground on 2x6 width.
Seems like you got yourself in a little precarious situation there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I drew the short straw, but I had to do this.
I think this follows regulation though, right? I'm not worried because he's the one doing it. I mean,
That's real cynical.
I think I was still in my basket.
I'm safe. This is me. I mean, you're only 20 feet up in the air with nothing nailed together.
Here's the thing, we were basically building on tree trunks. The thing still sways. And the higher up you go, guess what?
It shifts.
The more it sways.
It sways. We laid our walls out. We laid the wrap down on them. Got the walls prepped. We tacked them down so it won't fall off of the structure.
I hope y'all are ready for the dramatic moment of raising a wall.
You don't want to build a nice, beautiful wall and the wall go 40 feet off the edge.
Yeah, that's the worst. When you get that big wall and you have a gust of wind and you don't have it properly braced, that thing can take off and you are back to square one.
So taking
Luckily,
steps,
that did not happen to us. We were good. Combined, we've done every element of this job before, but never all put together like this. Like, we've built houses from the ground up, we've built tree houses, we've built, of course, pirate ships, tons of those, and everything in between. But to take all of that knowledge and experience and kind of put it into one and build something like this, that was pretty challenging.
Circumstances were definitely different.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Tree. You know I'm Duck Dynasty. Din! What's up, man? Let's go build some duck calls.
I might be a little afraid of heights. Leaving the safety of the basket of the machine was the hardest thing I probably had to do in my entire life. And Derek is standing straight up on the walkboard.
Feeling okay about. We just hefted this 500-pound gorilla on a 1-foot ledge.
If he were to tip just a little backwards, it'd be hasta luego, nos vemos, que vaya con Dios, all that stuff.
We would put the rafters up, and we built all that by hand, the roof system, the rafters. When you're up that high, it just takes so much longer to do everything. And had we not had the DINO bot, we called it,
Or my tool belt.
or your tool belt, it would have taken us 3 months to do this job.
Yeah.
So it was insanely helpful to have the right machines, the right tools to do the job. So we got put up in a
2 guys in a trailer.
in a little like
Camper.
a little camper trailer.
It was the ultimate bachelor pad.
Yeah. It
was cool.
It was rough. It was rough to be in that little space for that long. Had some outside showers.
My hot water ran out in like a minute. So it was a speed shower.
That was not enjoyable, especially after having been up in the Oregon wilderness and
Working for 14 hours straight.
I feel like I've done this before.
What do you
Dragging
speak
the
of?
suitcase out from underneath my bed, pulling out clothes that I've worn before. And then we're gonna step out and we're gonna deadlift trees for 12 hours.
After the first, I don't know,
Ritual.
14 days of doing exactly the same thing every day and being in a little pod,
It's Groundhog's Day. I feel like Bill Murray. I'm gonna start getting depressed.
Uh-oh. Well, it's a good thing that this is our second to last day of working
Yeah,
out
because
here.
then you know what happens at the end of the movie. You start trying to commit suicide in different ways. I don't want to be jumping off a 40-foot treehouse.
Yeah, we'd have ample places to do that out there, wouldn't we? All right, well,
Peace out.
peace out.
World.
Get ready, and we'll see you on the job site.
So it's spring break. Where are we going, guys? Okay, please don't sabotage it. I need you to say we're going to the zoo, okay? Okay, let's try one more time. It's spring break. Where are we going?
Subway.
For the love of Pete, guys. It's spring break, guys. Where are we going? Yeehaw. Taylor, where are we, buddy? Where's my big boy? Buddy Boo, what are you doing down there? So thankfully, we got a little break from the job in Oregon and got to come home for a few weeks. That was very much needed. Whenever I'm home, I love to do something fun with the family. And this time we went to the Nashville Zoo. Bears at the zoo, bears at the zoo. All you want to do is just see yourself. And he's dancing. See what you can broad jump. That was awesome.
We know you have
This is what it looks like in the car after a day at the zoo. Peace and quiet. Morning of day 10, yeah? The day 10?
Day 10.
We've lost track of what day it is. Yeah. We're in some twilight zone at this point. We built this really cool deck out to the front that had 2 more poles that we had to get set.
How we doing, Chef?
We're up.
Should be able to lean on that.
Yeah.
Big windows, awesome view all the way around. We did the tongue and groove cedar on the inside, wrapped the whole thing with cedar.
Why are you so happy, Mr. Chris?
Because I am like this every day of the week. You know why? Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper in the morning.
It's a Dr. Pepper
Dr.
thing.
Pepper in the afternoon. Dr. Pepper in the evening. Awesome.
As a background, I did used to do a little bit of dancing, and if I put the term professional in there, it doesn't make it sound right.
Just don't add the word pole.
Yeah. You're way too good at that.
We'll just say it was Latin and ballroom. I mean, any platform we build, it has to be tested, and there's a gold standard of testing to make sure it's sound for any little feet.
A resident professional dancer. Oh my gosh.
It's something like
Yeah,
a little tap, you know, maybe a little tap here, maybe a little kick.
Okay, that's not.
Maybe-
don't
maybe-
give it oh, you just showed the
Oh,
backside, dude.
Sorry.
Don't do that. That's for later episodes.
Sorry. He brings me along for the jig. The cedar shakes were a really nice touch on the
gable
ends of the treehouse.
It was tough. The conditions were sometimes not perfect, but man, it was rewarding. It was just cool to see this thing go from nothing, from a big pile of materials, to an amazing, like, I can't believe we just built this type of thing.
Definitely had a blast. It was a lot of fun. Great experience.
And I hope we get to do many more of those kind of projects in all kinds of locations all over the world.
Bigger and badder.
Bigger and badder, that's right.
That's how we do. Bigger and badder. That's terrible too. Don't let me do the outro.
Make sure and stay tuned for the Pirate Ship Bar in the Bahamas. It's going to be one of those things that you can actually come and see what we've done, as opposed to a private property where you can't come and visit.
Like a public display of construction.
This is going to be awesome. We're going to show you behind the scenes. We're going to show you what it's like in the Bahamas. We're going to show you the people, the places, all the good stuff. So make sure and stay tuned for the next episode of the Playship Pirate.